On October 23rd, 2025, current and former NBA players and one coach were among 34 people arrested and indicted for allegedly conducted rigged sports betting and poker games. One including Hall of Famer and current Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups, former player Damian Jones, and current Miami Heat player Terry Rozier were all arrested for their alleged involvement in the scandal. Terrible. But you know what? Gambling and sports betting has always been associated with sports. But the NBA is no stranger to this. Wasn't it just almost over 20 years ago when they had another scandal that happened? Let's take it all the way back to the 2000s, right? Let's take it all the way back. Take it back when most of us on here were younger, of course, and spry, and not hurting every day, waking up and not in their mid-30s and whatever stuff that's going on. But still, some of us were still teenagers and teens and preteens and kids. But anyway, enough rambling. But let's take it back to the 2000s. I remember clearly there was a referee that was involved in stuff like this. What was his name again? Tim Donahue. Yeah, that was his name. Tim Donahue was the NBA ref that got caught up in this stuff. Yeah, I'm sure some of you guys remember that. You're old enough to remember that, but I don't think the kids remember what happened with this guy. So, this whole thing started with the betting scandal with this referee back on July 20th, 2007, when a columnist named Murray Weiss of the New York Post reported an investigation by the FBI into allegations of an NBA referee betting on games and controlling the point spread. It was revealed that Tim Donahue claimed during the sentence phase of his case he had a gambling problem, placed tens of thousands of dollars in bets on games during the 05-06 season and also the 06-07 season, had allegedly been approached by a low-level mob associates to work on a gambling scheme. Reporters, especially those who worked crime bets and who had quality law enforcement still and street resources, soon discounted the supposed involvement of the mob in the scandal. However, bear with me with this name, Mike Miscellany of the Stephen A. Smith Show, that takes it back, suggested that Donahue had gotten himself into debt and tried to make up by betting on games. So there's a little bit insight to that, but this goes back past the 06-07 season, 05-04 season, 05-06 season. No, this goes all the way back. But the day after initial reports, NBA Commissioner David Stern said that no amount of effort or time or personnel is being spread to assist in this investigation and bring justice to an individual who had betrayed the most scarce trust in professional sports and take to the necessary steps to protect against this ever happening again. He then held a press conference on July 24th to address the questions about the allegation or investigations. Although he called the Donahue matter an isolated case, he also said it was the most serious situation, worst situation that I ever experienced. And I remember when this went down, it was almost the same summer. No, it wasn't almost the same, it was the exact same summer when Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett went to the Boston Celtics. That was leading into the 07-08 season. And now the government got involved. On July 27th, U.S. Congressman Bobby Russell, Illinois, the chairman of the Energy and Commerce. Wait a minute. Why is whatever? Asked to meet with Stern regarding the Donahue matter. In a letter to Stern, Rush indicated that he might call a hearing should the facts warrant a public scrutiny. He also said that the affair could potentially be one of the most damaging scandals in American history of sports. On the same day, it was reported that a high school classmate of Donahue and his classmate's boss had bet on NBA games based on Donahue's tips. Donahue later revealed that he was rewarded $2,000 in cash for the correct pick based on the tips he would pass along. It was further learned that Donahue's pay was increased from $2,000 per correct pick to $5,000 after the first games of the 06-07 portion of the four-season scandal. Now, this is where it goes all the way back, and this is what bothers me the most about the NBA. It was something I was always suspecting all along at the NBA at the time. Now, a year later almost, right after the Boston Celtics, during when the Boston Celtics won their championship that year, on June 11, 2008, Donahue alleged in a statement through his lawyers that several series in the NBA playoffs have been properly refereed according to the NBA's instructions. He alluded specifically to a playoff game where personal fouls resulting in obviously injured players were ignored when they occurred in full view of rest because it was the NBA's interest to add another game to the series. Ding ding. Another reason why I hate it. I'll get into that later. The game referred to was widely believed to be the Game 6 of the 2002 Western Conference Finals between the Los Angeles Lakers and Sacramento Kings. That famous, or I should say now infamous series, in which the Lakers shot 27 free throws in the fourth quarter. Damn. Donahue also referred to a playoff series when the Team 3's owners alleged that the referees were letting a Team 4 player get away with illegal screens. NBA executive Y, covering their names, told referee supervisor Z that the referees for that game were to enforce the screening rules strictly against the Team 4 player. The playoff series was believed the first round encounter between the Houston Rockets and the Dallas Mavericks of 05 NBA playoffs. The Rockets led 2-0 in that series before losing in 7 games. I remember that series. And there, the Rockets head coach Jeff Van Gundy was fined $100K for stating that a referee was targeting Houston center Yao Ming. Federal authorities investigated Donahue's claims and found no evidence to support them. Sure. About this, a USA Jeffrey Goldberg told the court, "We'll never take the position that Mr. Donahue had lied to us. But there's a difference between telling the truth and believing you're telling the truth and find out later that a number of allegations don't hold any water." So, when it takes it back all the way to 2002, I always suspected. I know the Kings, most of us agree, even some others I ain't Laker fan, but some Laker fans out there agree that there was some shenanigans going on in that 2002 Western Conference Finals series. But also at the same time, the Kings also imploded the next game after that. But still, the fact that this happened pisses me off. And I think it goes past 2002. I think it goes past a couple of years. I always suspect, and it was always alleged, that Tim Donahue had something to do with the 2001 Eastern Conference Finals, Milwaukee Bucks versus Philadelphia 76ers series as well. Because in that series, the Bucks got hosed big time. Because they did not want to see Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson, Sam Cassell, Milwaukee Bucks, small market team, going against the Lakers. They wanted to see the flashy AI versus the Kobe Bryant. It'll take a couple years before we see Ray Allen and Sam Cassell versus Kobe Bryant, 2008 tie-in. But I always suspect Donahue has something to do with that. Eventually, July 29th, 2008, Donahue was sentenced to 15 months in prison and 3 years of supervised release. Although his lawyers asked for a probationary sentence, Donahue admitted that he had brought shame on myself, my family, and the profession. And the judge that handed out the sentence noted that she held Donahue more culpable in the business arrangement than his two conspirators, and added, "Without Donahue, there's no scheme." Eventually, he was released from prison on November 4th, 2009. Before being released, he wrote a tell-all book about himself in the NBA titled Personal Foul, first-person account of the scandal that rocked the NBA. Many of the claims Donahue makes in the book and related appearances have been debunked for evidence. Some of the main falsehoods debunked concern specifically about the NBA game outcomes. Yeah. You get what I'm saying. Basically, he put it out there what the NBA is doing, and people are saying, "Oh, that's not happening." Too bad. I don't believe it. I don't believe none of that, because it's still carrying on to this day. Now, like I said, this did rock the NBA world a lot during that time, but there's really no. It was kind of an isolated incident, if you think about it. And then so on after you know, a couple of later, you got the referee that was a Boston Celtics fan, refereeing Celtics fans, calling stupid calls on the Miami Heat and all that. So it's that, right? And now you skip till today with Chauncey Billups and Damian Jones and Terry Rozier and even Michael Porter Jr. It's Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr.'s brother who got caught up in betting on games and got himself kicked out of the league for good. Now, let's skip to today so I can understand this, because I did not really speak too much about this. So, the investigation of the current situation that's going on with the illegal gambling prosecution. Now, the FBI and New York City Police Department Organized Crime Control Bureau Joint Organized Crime Task Force began investigating individuals associated with the NBA for illegal gambling 2 years ago. The Bureau was alerted to unusual betting activity, including Rozier in March 2023. I think most of us remember that. It's only 2 years ago. The NBA also investigated a meeting with Rozier multiple times, but cleared him of all wrongdoing. Rozier was arrested in Orlando, Florida, where the Heat played their season opener against. Dang! She whiz! Can't wait till the fool get out the stadium. Terry Rozier, you're under arrest. She whiz. And then, as we all know, Chauncey Billups was arrested in Portland the day after the Trailblazers lost the season over to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Both Rozier and Billups denied allegations were placed on administrative leave by the NBA pending review of the federal indictments. Now, the alleged scheme at hand, the prosecution involves two alleged schemes. Billups and Rozier were charged in separate but related schemes involving rigged poker games and illegal prop bets. Billups and Jones were accused of helping the mafia organize rigged poker games, after which the mafia would take a portion of the winnings and go after debtors. Billups and Jones also charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. Gee whiz. The first indictment involved a group of accused multiplying bets on the NBA using non-public information. Prosecutors identified at least 7 games between February 23 and March of 2024 under scrutiny. Rozier was alleged to have informed associates that he would leave at February 23rd game, 2023 game early due to an injury, allowing them to place over $200K in bets and predicting his underperformance. He exited the game after 9 minutes with reported foot injury. Here's my thing about it. Then again, he probably told him he had a sprained foot or something like that. You really can't, do x-rays on a sprained foot. But Jones was also charged for his alleged role in influencing bets on the other 2 games, and alleged to have shared privileged information about players' interest for 2 Los Angeles Lakers games in 2023 and 2024. Ooh, I knew LeBron. It was all LeBron. I knew LeBron was in this. Joking. The indictment additionally accused co-conspirator 8, an unnamed Oregon resident matching Billups' career timeline, providing insider details about the Trailblazers game back in March of 2023. The second indictment included 31 defendants, including Billups, with an operating network with rigged high-stakes poker games and connected to an organized crime. Prosecutors stated that the members and associates of the Genovese the Gambino crime family used sophisticated technology as modified shuffling machines, contact lenses, and x-ray table to cheat out players of approximately $70 million. What the heck is this? This is a whole freaking movie scheme right here. Victims were reportedly lured into games with professional and former professional athletes in locations including the hotspots: Vegas, Miami, Manhattan, and the Hamptons. Unknown to the victims, everyone surrounding them was part of the fraud. Players, dealers, and even card shuffling and chip counting machines. And players refused to play losses. Members of the crime families allegedly used threats and intimidation to collect debts. So there you have it. Those are the schemes that took place. Now Adam Silver has came out and said something, but I don't trust the word Adam Silver or Silverling, whatever you want to call him, says. Because he already acknowledged that federal authorities had gathered investigative resources, The NBA stated that it's taking a new federal indictments with the utmost seriousness and reaffirm is committed to preserving the integrity of the game. And there's also been other people connected to this, like Kevin Garnett and Tyronn Lue, of the head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers. But here's how I feel about the whole thing. I'm not surprised. Not surprised by any bit. With all the sports betting and that they got all these freaking things they got in the apps you can do it. I'm not surprised that this is going on. I'm not really. I really wasn't bothered by it. But then I thought about it. I'm like, I am bothered by it because some people could have been cheating, influencing the games, costing my team a game probably. Because they want to cheat and make money. And they got people out there getting threatened if they ain't pay up. So yeah, I kind of did eventually care. Because out there people getting hurt. Yeah, you do care. And so this whole thing is just crazy. But I'm not surprised. Chauncey Billups, for one hand, it's like, what are you doing? Actually, everybody involved is like, what are you doing? But then again, if everybody that's involved, some of these dudes do be getting bored in their retired lives. I don't know about Terry Rozier. He's still in the league. But then again, Chauncey Billups too, you gotta worry about coaching. Why are you worried about gambling and betting? Now, I wonder of a certain thing that happened 2 months prior to this. I think it was 2 months prior to this, or a month prior to this. Someone else got caught up in some weirdness as well. Now, I don't know if it's connected, but remember back in late July, Gilbert Arenas, former guard for the Washington Wizards, he was arrested after being indicted on federal charges of running an illegal underground high-stakes gambling operation with some Israeli mobsters. You guys remember that. I don't know if that's connected, but something's going on with these NBA players in the NBA. There's something definitely going on. So, it's still early in this case. We don't know what's going to happen. It could be some more information popping out. But yeah, this whole thing is crazy, but at the same time, I am not the least surprised based on earlier in this video what I said about Tim Donahue and the betting scandal that he was involved in. I'm not perplexed. But it also is making me look at the NBA. Well, I can't even say it, making me look at the NBA at a different lens. I always looked at the NBA with one eye, smugged, and the other eye wishing that the games weren't on the up and up, the league was on the up and up. But I always kept it 50-50. Now, people are talking about magnet balls and all that stuff. I don't know. But there's definitely some influence going on. And I think all sports leagues are like that. Football, baseball. I don't know why people act like baseball ain't included in this. All these sports have got some freaking shadiness going on to make certain teams win. Shoot, you look at the NFL. Currently, you play the Chiefs. You got to fight not only the Chiefs, but you got to fight the refs too. Because you touch Patrick Mahomes, you breathe on Patrick Mahomes. Foul, flag. That's the golden boy. He makes the money. And that's kind of what they do in the NBA. Teams like the Lakers, especially the Lakers, they make the money. They get the views. So they always going to get some type of call that most people will be like, that's not a foul, or that shouldn't be a foul. He fouled, and where's the call? It's always going to be like that when you're playing the Lakers, at least. That's why the Lakers can shoot 46 free throws and Golden State and Sacramento get 5 free throws per game when they play the Lakers. Completely ridiculous. But anyways, tell me what you guys think.